All right, guys. The last little bit of chapter 27, last concept in chapter 27, now that we have a handle on average propensities and marginal propensities to both consume and save, is something called the multiplier effect. What the multiplier effect looks at is how a change in spending in the economy is going to ultimately impact the economy's GDP as a whole. Two of the things that we know about changes in spending and looking at the multiplier is that the first one is the economy is going to support repetitive and continuous flows of expenditures and income. And what that means is that if I increase my spending, then that's going to cause others to increase their spending in the economy as well. The second thing that we know when we're dealing with the multiplier is that any change in income is going to cause both our consumption and our savings to move in the same direction. So if I decrease my spending or decrease my income, that's going to change both consumption and saving. It's going to cause them both to go down in the economy as well. Now, to see how the multiplier process works, it's helpful to look at this chart to get things started. And we're going to keep the numbers really small here. And so what we're looking at is an increase in investment of about $5. That increase in investment is a change of income of $5, and that's what this first column is. Now, how is this going to ultimately impact the entire economy in terms of a change of income over time? Well, we can figure that out if we know what our MPC is, our marginal propensity to consume, and also our MPS, which is our marginal propensity to save. Notice that marginal propensity to consume is 0.75, and marginal propensity to save is at 0.25. And remember, if we add these together, it's going to equal 1, or 100% of income, because spending is either or proposition. You either spend it or you save it. All right, so when we get things started, we have our $5 in income, and the individual is going to basically consume $3.75, and they're going to save $1.25. Now notice that the MPC, the marginal propensity to consume, gets bumped down to the second round because there's some new individual that has access to this $3.75. But what are those individuals going to do in this economy? Well, they're going to consume 75% of it, and they're going to save 25% of it. Again, notice as we move to the third round, $2.81 of consumption goes down into new income because it's new income to some individual that received it, and they're going to consume 75% of it and save 25% of it. And on it goes until we get to the very bottom. And what we find in this particular economy, an injection of an additional $5 will ultimately end up creating $20 after it's all said and done, moving through the economy with that continuous flow. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a quicker way or a more efficient way for us to figure this out? And thankfully there is. And here is how we do it. The multiplier is figured out by basically taking your marginal propensity to save and dividing it by 1. And so in this case, our marginal propensity to save was 0.25. And so if we divide 1 over 0.25, what we find is that our multiplier in this economy is 4. Now, to look at it from a macro sense, instead of using $5, let's use $5 billion and see how that affects things. So if our income changed by an increase in investment of $5 billion, how would that affect total income within the economy? Well, you take your multiplier, 1 over 0.25, and find that it's 4, and then you go $5 billion of increased investment and multiply that by 4, and what we would come up with is 20 additional $1 billion that are available for people to consume and save.